We're kind of food comaing and just had some drinks.
Yep.
But we're about to start the interview, so
Let's do it.
let's get into it. Your grandpa, he's super musical, right? Can you tell me some of the stories and experiences you've had with him?
Okay, well, actually, not just my grandpa, but like just my grandparents from both families are very musically inclined. My dad's side of the family, they play a lot of music, and as in they play instruments, and then my mom's side really does more of like singing. So I think I just really grew up around the influence of just really listening to a lot of music and watching my parents sing. They used to be voice talents for like TV and radio commercials back in the Philippines. So I like basically grew up in the studio watching them. And I just remember like being in the studio, sleeping on the couch as a little girl while my parents were like out doing takes. And then later on, like after a couple minutes, I would literally be singing the song that they're singing already. So like at the age of I think like 3.5 or 4, I already had my first like voice commercial, because I just like the early years of my life were just really spent watching my parents.
Yeah, that leads into the other question I had. Like, you wrote your first composition at 4 years old.
Yeah.
Obviously your music has changed since you were a kid, but like,
totally.
How has like songwriting developed from the time you were a kid, just watching people in the studio to like being in music now?
Yeah, the first ever song that I wrote, it was for my grandpa, and it was called, it's mumbling, so it's called Titi Lala, and it doesn't mean anything, but for me, during that time, it meant I love you. So that was just like, na 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 na. That was the first ever song that I wrote. But I always just like sing random melodies of like, you know, whenever it comes to my head. The very first time that I wrote like a legit song with an instrument was like, I think when I was 13 years old, and I had a crush on someone that I really liked him. And just like, I think in 10 minutes I wrote the song, and it's called The Early Morning Song. And it just talks about like, you know, being super in love, you know, like teen stuff. From that point to now, I definitely see how it has changed, because I write songs based on experience. And I used to be that kind of person who wasn't really like open to putting myself in other people's shoes, which also limited like my creativity in songwriting. But as I grew older, as I started to experience more and more things in life, and as I decided to kind of like see what would I do if I were in their situation, that kind of like gave me a lot more perspective in terms of writing, and it really did just like widen my mind to a lot more opportunities and possibilities.
Because you're thinking outside of yourself.
Yes, exactly. I used to write a lot of love songs, but like right now it's more of just like heartbreak, or like unrequited love, or just like not being good enough, or not being ready to face something in life, or not knowing where to go. So that's like what I write about, because that's what I'm going through. And I feel like those are the things that are a lot more relevant and relatable to people, because it's raw and it's real, and it's not like, not everybody experiences love all the time. So I want to write songs that are very relatable, but still kind of like gives hope to people, that when they listen to it, like there's still a positive note that they could take out of the song.
You said like you were like mostly really songwriting at like the age of 13 and stuff. And also that's the time you like started creating covers, right?
Yes.
Like, and putting that on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think? I mean, like, there's so many artists who like, or people who are budding and trying to be in the industry, who are putting out covers. Like, what do you think set yourself apart to the fans that you have today?
First of all, I think it was the song selection. I think during the time that I started doing YouTube, it wasn't really like a big thing as it is today. So there wasn't really like, there was like a place in the market for like this teenager with a ukulele to cover classic songs that were far from like her era. So like I would cover a lot of like Beatles songs and Carpenters and just a lot of old songs that a lot of older people would like.
Classics.
And yeah, I think there was just like room in like the YouTube hemisphere for someone like that. So it was very nostalgic for a lot of the older people, but it's a new experience for the people my age because they were like, oh, this is that. I've never heard the song before, and it's cool that there's like a rendition that's still kind of like relevant to the music I'm listening to. So that's what kind of like made people want to subscribe and hear more.
Going back to like the beginning-ish of like the career, you were in like an Audi commercial where your voice was in an Audi commercial, Samsung, and a couple other things. Like, what was it like having, especially with your family being in the music industry, what was it like to transition like from a young age into that industry?
The one thing that I really love about all of this is that I really didn't enter like the business or the show business to want to be famous. I think it was just really me like starting a YouTube channel and just thinking that, okay, I want to make music without thinking of anything, without thinking of monetization and all of that. It's just, I really just want to put stuff out there and let's just see where it goes. Cause I really just, like I really loved music so much and I didn't know what to do with that. So I was like, okay, might as well just post. I think for me, I've always had supportive parents and just like being with parents who are like in the music industry themselves, who know how it works, helped guide me to be grounded at all times and to always like remember why I started. And it wasn't really like to get recognition. It's just to really like put stuff out there and share your heart out and be a voice for people that, you know, I mean, that don't really know how to express your feelings. Even up to now, a lot of people, like my friends would say, oh, you're so big already. Like, what does it feel like? Or all of that. And for me, it's like, I don't literally consider myself any of that. I'm literally just a person who happens to like have music that can be relatable to people.
Also, like towards the beginning-ish of your career, you were in like YouTube FanFest Manila and a couple other like events. Can you tell me what it's like performing in front of like big audiences like that?
It's been wild. I've been in YouTube FanFest. YouTube FanFest is like the VidCon in Asia. So I've been a part of that ever since it started, which was like 5-6 years ago. And it's been really fun. And it was also like a really good way for me to build myself as a performer because the event itself kind of like grew as I was growing as a creator. I already performed in like a small hotel room all the way like 5 years later to like an arena. I think that YouTube itself kind of like evolved with me. It reminds me of the sense of purpose that I have. So yeah, it's really a good highlight in my career because it just really helped me mature as an artist.
And another highlight on that is you were signed by Star Magic when you were 15.
Yeah.
And just this year you were signed by Universal Music Germany. What was it like to transition from like being a musician as like a more child to something that's more adult?
Right. It's been fun, but at the same time, like I'm still in that process of like, okay, yeah, I'm totally growing up already. Like I'm an adult because and like even in my music, like I just unknowingly I listen back and I'm like, oh my gosh, my stuff is really changing already, and I don't see it happening, but I feel it, and I think now there's more of like this pressure on how I can be. Like, how can my stuff be relevant to people and not just like another song or another pop song or another cute song? So I think that's the burden that I'm carrying right now, is that I just don't want to be an artist, but I want to be an artist that sings about things that matter, not just in our personal lives, but like what's happening around the world. And I think that's one thing that I'm also trying to work on, is to really just have a good impact on people and to sing about things that are positive and that will bring hope to people, but still at the same time give them a good time while listening to it, and just have that balance.
That's a hard balance to me.
Right? But like, you know, someone has to try, or at least someone has to dream that they could do that. But I mean, like my subscribers are very honest about how my stuff makes them feel, and they say stuff like, oh, it has helped me through depression just listening to your music, or it has helped me go through a loss of a loved one and all that. So like and I do covers. So like that alone already has an impact on people. So like, what more if I actually start to sing about things that are more personal? So that's the kind of artist that I want to be. I also want to be that person who brings kind of like an old school twist to all my music because I love the classics. Which
you've been doing.
Yeah. And I mean, like, you know, there's so much culture, there's so much history in music that a lot of people are missing out on. A lot of people my age. So I want to be like that kind of person who would, like, you know, bring a little old sound to my stuff and yet still being very present and relevant.
Cool. So does your like goal with making music that's like impactful as well as like obviously enjoyable to listen to tie into like the new singles that you're releasing and like you're going on tour, right? Eventually?
Yeah, eventually. Yeah, so hopefully next year.
How is it tying in? Like, can you tell us any specifics about it?
I have a lot of my own music, but right now I am starting to collaborate with a lot more songwriters here in the States, and it really gives me a lot more perspective about things that make a song a good song. Like this recent collaboration that I had with Jason Mraz it's a love song, but it's still like, I love how it's still very relevant to people because, I mean, there's so much going on in this world, and just to kind of like remember that, oh, there's still this thing called love, and if, you know, having someone that you love so much, but you kind of like want to love them more, but you don't know how to say it. So I think that's just what makes the song very like personal and relatable to them. And that's like literally all I'm about. Like I really just want to be personal and relatable. But yeah, like the upcoming music that I'm having, there's really no specific one yet because I'm still in the process of writing everything. But I have a lot of situational stories that I feel like a lot of people would get to relate to as well. I don't want to be like that singer who's very preachy and be like, you know, we could do this, but I want to be that in a sense that it's in a very like subtle way that people would be inspired by just the story and not by someone like
telling you.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how I want my music to be.
What is it like to go from being like a celebrity in the Philippines and transition into that internationally?
Yeah, I don't even consider myself a celebrity. I mean, honestly, like I'm not that. I mean, like people recognize me. There are times people would come up to me and be like, "Oh, can I take a photo? I know you." Or the worst thing is that people won't come up to me, but they would just tweet me and be like, "I saw you here," and I'm like, "Oh shoot,
I'm a real person."
Yeah. But then I think there's really not much of a difference because I'm not super mainstream in the Philippines. Like a lot of people still don't know I'm Filipino because of like how I talk and like my music and just my style in general. Like they wouldn't think. So it's still not super known. It's getting there. It's growing. But I think that's also one good thing about being kind of like underrated, because like I know I'm still experiencing what it's like to not be like a super celebrity. And you know, so it keeps you grounded and it keeps you humble, and it makes you know your place, and it makes you want to work for things harder. You haven't reached that peak in your life, like, oh, like I'm a celebrity, I'm a diva, so like why don't you know me? So I think that that's one advantage that I have. That's why like when I'm meeting up with people here, it's really just like, it's no difference from back home, because I'm still that person who's still constantly introducing myself and my stuff out there.
How is it like, what is it like to be close to your family, like especially like your brother, but to be so far apart?
It's actually really hard because like my family is very close, and especially like just our culture of like our family being just super like together all the time, and like we don't move out and stuff like that, right? We're all in the same house, we're all in the same area. It's hard, and at the same time I get to experience a lot of amazing things out here that I wish we could have all experienced as a family. And my brother is growing up. He's 11 years old, and he's also in that stage in his life where he's you know, he's starting to like mold who he is and what his personality is, and just I mean, I really wish like he would be with me or with us as often as we would visit here. But I mean, like I'm totally comfortable with the idea that it's just for temporarily. Like for sure there will come a time that they will fly here too, and I want my brother to establish himself here as well, because he's he's just, I feel like he's gonna get along with a lot of people here way
Why?
better. Because like, it's just his humor and just like the things that he likes. So I feel like he would definitely find a really good community here who understands his wavelength. So yeah, and my dad too. Like my dad loves activities and he likes basketball. He loves fishing so much, and like I really feel like there's so much that they would do and they would enjoy here.
Gotta get them all to come
yes,
here. And you too.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely the goal for us to move here.
Yeah. Like you are very religious. Like it shows in like, your Twitter feeds, like throughout, and like Instagram and stuff.
Yeah.
And can you tell me about like you took a mission trip to Coron, which is in Palawan, in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
Well, that was for a church. That was a church activity that my parents decided to take us along with.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because that was for like a church. It was a church plant that they were building because I think it was like hit by the typhoon. So like the church got destroyed. So the church that we were serving in that time helped out in that mission field, and we provided them like with voice lessons and just a lot of really fun activities. And I think that was one of the first ever outreach programs that I've ever did. And it was really nice because it moved me in a sense that it really, like, a lot of people, or even myself, would sometimes complain about church and like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. There's so much more to pinpoint. But when you see like people who would still, you know, want to serve or would still want to know more about God, even in a place that's like non-existent or a place that is destroyed, kind of just moved me in a sense that like I should be thankful for what I have, and not just in church, but just in my personal life. Like, you know, there's so much more people going through a lot than I am, and I'm very blessed. And yeah, it was a really fun trip. It was really beautiful too.
When you're 16 up to now, it's kind of like a trying time for you. Like, being on rocky ground.
Yes.
Like, what were some of the things you were like struggling with?
I think for me, one thing that I struggled with the most was really finding a breakthrough in my career, or getting to that breakthrough rather, because like as time went by, a lot of people started to do YouTube as well. It started to become a big thing. A lot of people I knew started, and then like in a year, like they're literally in the peak of their career, and I started like years ago, and still nothing's happening. And then I started to kind of like compare myself and be like, why am I doing, what am I not doing that they're doing? Why is it that like they're already at the peak of their careers and I'm still here? So it kind of like made me doubt myself in a sense, like, is this really for me? Because like I feel like I've been trying so hard, but people would like say that, oh, maybe it's like your sound is not for here, or just things that would kind of like make you think twice about what you're doing and what you're passionate about. And as time went by, slowly but surely, the word started to spread, and then people started to like recognize me more and what I do. And I started to gain more subscribers, and people started to become more interactive with the content that I post. I decided to just really focus on myself and focus on my career and not like have a point of comparison. I realized that the pacing is really different for each individual. Like not everyone will go through the same like story or the same struggle and reach the same success at the same time. So we all have our own journey and we all have our own time. And that's something that really gave me comfort, because it made me less doubtful and insecure about my journey. And I would be like, okay, yeah, they're cool, they're successful, they're already there, but I'm still getting there.
And then also I've noticed in like other, like some posts you've written deal with like body positivity.
Yeah.
Like, can you tell me more about that?
Oh my gosh, yes. No, because like, I mean, I just, ever since I was young, I've always been conscious about my body, and everybody would be like, I mean, you're fine. But I think that we shouldn't like disregard that, because people have their own insecurities, regardless of whether or not they're thin. And I've just always had like people tell me when I would say like, oh, I feel insecure about this, or like my arms are big, or like I look fat, and like, no, I mean, like you're fine. Like people are, yeah, I mean, like people are having it way worse than you, so like it's fine. Or a lot of people would also say that, oh, you would actually look better skinnier, and it just looks better on you. But I think for me, there was a time when I just really had that like mindset that I have to be skinny to look good. And a lot of people go through that too. But I think for me, there's a difference between wanting to be skinny and wanting to take care of yourself. And I think that, yeah, it's really important to eat healthy and do exercising and all that, but it's for you to be healthy and not to be skinny. That's why I love just being around people who are very positive about that, and like people who will not make you feel bad for wearing certain things because of your body type and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm just really all about, loving your body, but also taking care of it. And I'm still in the process of doing that, so.
It's a work in progress.
Yep, constantly. Yeah, and it's hard because like there's so much good food.
I know. Which we just ate.
Yeah, we had like really good adobo. So yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to add in this interview? Like anything upcoming or anything cool happening in your life right now?
Yeah, watch out for my single coming out in a few months. And it's still a work in progress. But yeah, do check me out on YouTube, and you'll learn about everything there, about my whereabouts and what's gonna happen. And yeah, so.
Yeah.
All right. Peace and love. Okay.
All right.
That was so.
Thanks.
That was such a chill interview.
I'm glad.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.